I'm Tracey.
And I'm Alana.
And thanks for joining us again on Howarth and Taboos. Today's topic is the question, has people divided across the nation, across the world? And I suppose they all have their reasons for taking their sides. To vax or not to vax? That is the question, yeah. I hate injections. I have this perverse take it away from me. I remember when I was a kid, I fell out of a tree and got stuck with a rather dirty branch. And my mum rushed me off down to the doctor. He bent me over a table and I was sobbing my heart out. And he whacked this thing into my rear end and I'm wailing like a baby.
Oh my goodness, that sounds traumatic.
It was kind of traumatic. You know, my mom was doing the best thing she could for me.
I'm the same as well. I don't do too well with needles, and I'm always one of those people where they're always like, relax your muscles, and then I just can't do it. I like tense up. When I took blood the one time, in England, they have like the little NHS little vans, you know, so you can go to any sort of location, give blood, and they're like these little pop-up places everywhere. And you literally line up, maybe doesn't take very long at all, literally give your blood, then they give you like a sweet treat afterwards, and then you go about your day. First time I gave blood, they had to like lift my legs up in the air. They had to get the blood back to my head because I reacted to it so badly. But I was like white as a sheet. I almost fainted. And I'm like, no, I'm doing a good thing for the people. I'm doing a good thing for the people. And then I come out the trailer and my mum is just looking at me like, oh my God. And she's like, you are never giving blood again.
So what kind of vaccines have you had?
Oh, I think I've had pretty much all of them. When we were younger and even throughout school, like secondary school or high school, if you will, they always made sure that we had shots and that we were always updated, up to date with shots. Yeah. I don't know if that's just like different over here in Canada because I've been living over here for only 3 years, but like in England, growing up and being in school, that was always something that they reminded everyone to get done.
South Africa was the same. South Africa was the same. You know, the TB jab, line up, get your booster, going down the line. I didn't like that either, but it was mandatory. And on the other hand, you know, you think to yourself, you don't really want to get caught with TB because it's not a really nice ailment. But on the other hand, you've got somebody who's had a transplant or something. I know somebody who's had one. And, you know, their immune system's compromised. You have the person you don't even know about it, that you've got some kind of allergy to some random substance that in your entire life you haven't had, but it might be in the mix.
There's a fine line between like, yes, should you get vaccinated? Yes. And then should you get vaccinated? No, because like sometimes people react badly to injections and vaccines, and their body may not be able to handle it. Their body may be like, what the fuck is this? And they could have like a really bad reaction. So I have to ask this question. How do you feel about mandating vaccines?
In the case of where I was pro-con of vaccines, I'm anti-mandating vaccines. And that's not all of them. I mean, you know, some vaccines are very, very different because it depends on viruses. What are you? Are you pro or anti-vax?
I guess I'm pro-vaccine, but again, there's like so much evidence out there as to say whether a vaccine is good or bad for an individual. I guess you really have to look at it from like that individual's perspective. Like it can really boil down to anything, whether they have like any immunity disorders, whether their genetics could be against if there's something in their blood that could be against a certain vaccine. I mean, I'm interested to know, what is the science behind this?
Well, I'm no scientist. I mean, I've had a look at some of the stuff. One of the things I was looking at, and again, I don't know how accurate the science is. I mean, they are medical papers, so I'm assuming that they're medically accurate. But there was one that mentioned a virus that they reckoned 80% of the world's population actually could have. It was a PMV virus. I don't remember the name exactly now. But we get it just because it's out there in the whatchamacallit. And this it affects your heart and yada yada, fish paste. I mean, I know years ago I had a bit of a scare and I was told, I thought I was having a heart attack, but it wasn't. That a virus had attacked my pericardium. They have no clue what virus it was.
So
Yeah,
that
so
actually happened to you.
that happened to me, you know. Yeah, so I can understand. It was just lying dormant, and that's the thing. There's a lot of viruses that we don't know are lying dormant, and they said that it could, by the COVID, for example, coming in again with that vaccine, it could contraindicate something. They don't mix well. If I was to put it in a less scientific, because I'm not a scientist, I don't have to. It's just. I have too many questions. They talk about, have you got antibodies for this? If you've got antibodies for that, will the antibodies for that actually cause some other problem? If it's a totally different virus, what's what? I've got a lot of questions and I have no answers and I don't know who to speak to. So, and that's one of the things I think mandated, if you need a tetanus jab and you've stubbed your toe on a rusty nail, get a tetanus jab. Smallpox, It's not a flu vaccine. I'm more about the mandating as the flu vaccine types, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Because your immune system has to survive on its own.
Exactly.
And it can. For a lot of us, for most of the time.
That's what kind of scares me, is that there's probably so many undiscovered diseases and viruses that we have still no idea.
None whatsoever.
There could be trillions and trillions and trillions and millions that nobody has even discovered yet. And that's kind of scary with this COVID business, because this just out of nowhere, it was just like, bam.
Exactly. We've got all these viruses. There's no cures for them. And then you're all rushing around trying to find a cure. Sorry, but it's kind of nature's way to say bye-bye. It's not going to kill all of us. It may kill all of us. We try and do the best we can when we have it.
I think
on that note,
yes,
and before we start a riot,
yes, indeed,
it's time for us to say bye-bye, and please join us again where we will be discussing white privilege.
Join us next time on our channel. I can't wait till I next speak to you. It's always really good when we have these little sessions, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time.
It's bye from me, Tracy.
It's bye from me, Alana.
Ta-ra.